Ready to fuel your fact addiction? Let's dive into 250 random facts that'll keep your brain buzzing. Despite being smaller than most U.S. states, the Netherlands is the world's second largest food exporter. Picture a land of windmills and cheese secretly running global agriculture. It's not just tulips. They're farming magicians turning postage stamp real estate into a buffet for the planet. Chickens may look harmless, but deep in their DNA lurks a prehistoric surprise. They're distant descendants of the mighty Tyrannosaurus Rex. That barnyard clucker is basically a mini dinosaur in disguise, strutting around like it doesn't secretly share genes with the king of Jurassic lunch breaks. Inuit igloos aren't just snow huts. They're cleverly engineered insulation machines. Built from compressed snow, these icy domes trap warmth so efficiently they stay at 0 degrees Celsius inside, even if it's minus 30 degrees Celsius outside. It's nature's version of central heating, minus the electricity and monthly utility bills. Hummingbirds are nature's feathered helicopters on espresso. They flap their wings up to 80 times per second, hover like tiny drones, and even fly backward. Basically, they're aerodynamic miracles built for nectar raids, zipping through the air with Olympic-level agility and zero interest in gravity. Devices like Alexa and Google Home wake when you speak their trigger words, but they're always listening just a little. That's raised serious privacy eyebrows. Because who doesn't want a smart assistant that plays your music and possibly remembers that one embarrassing thing you mumbled at 2 a.m.? White is the safest car color because it stands out in almost any lighting condition, from bright sunshine to foggy mornings. This visibility advantage means white cars are less likely to be involved in accidents, making them the practical choice for safety-conscious drivers. Most ice skating rinks have counterclockwise turns because turning left feels more natural for right-handed people. This subtle design helps skaters maintain balance and rhythm, making left turns the standard, kind of like the universe's way of favoring right-handedness on ice. Research suggests that each extra inch in height adds about $800 to your yearly income. Over decades, that's thousands. Tall people get more dough, possibly because we subconsciously trust people who can reach the top shelf. Sorry, short kings. It's economic bias in high heels. Has your height impacted your yearly earnings? Let me know below your height, and if it's an advantage or disadvantage. Almonds and peaches might seem worlds apart, but they're distant cousins from the rose family. One's a crunchy snack, the other's a juicy treat, but botanically, they're floral relatives, like the odd couple of the produce aisle with shared DNA and wildly different personalities. An ant could skydive off a mountain, hit the ground, and just keep walking like nothing happened. Their small size and low body mass make them nearly immune to fall damage. Basically, they're nature's indestructible action figures, just with more legs and fewer dramatic landings. Stonehenge is older than the Great Pyramid of Giza, built around 3000 BC, and still refuses to spill its secrets. Was it an ancient calendar, burial ground, or alien landing pad? Whatever it was, it's been vibing mysteriously in the English countryside for millennia. Research from the University of British Columbia shows that narcissists, psychopaths, and Machiavellians are less convincing online. Without body language or facial cues, their charm falls flat, proving some personalities just can't fake it without a little FaceTime. Math anxiety is more than just disliking long division. It's a real psychological freeze-up. Numbers trigger panic, blank minds, and sweaty palms. For some, algebra feels like a horror film in slow motion, where the villain is a pop quiz and nobody brought a calculator. Your brain is about 60% fat, making it the fattiest organ in your body. But don't panic, it's essential fat. It protects neurons, fuels thoughts, and speeds up signals. In other words, your brilliant ideas are sliding around on a slippery, genius-friendly layer of lard. The word nurse comes from Latin roots meaning to breastfeed, back when caregiving meant nourishment straight from the source. Over time, It evolved into the modern-day superhero in Scrubs. Still all about care, just with more syringes and slightly fewer baby bottles. Researchers at Worcester Polytechnic Institute are repurposing spinach leaves' vascular networks to deliver blood, oxygen, and nutrients for growing human tissue. Nature's plumbing inspires the future of medicine, turning leafy greens into life-giving scaffolds. Coffins and caskets aren't interchangeable. Coffins have 6 sides and a classic vampire vibe, while caskets are neat rectangles with 4 sides. Brits lean toward coffin style. Americans prefer caskets. Either way, it's luxury furniture for your final nap. We're running out of sand. Yes, sand. The grainy stuff beneath your feet is one of the world's most consumed resources, needed for concrete, glass, and smartphones. And it's disappearing fast. Welcome to the sand shortage apocalypse. No beach towels will save us. A 2008 study proved that smells shape our dreams. Roses floating through your nose at night lead to sweet dreams. Rotten eggs? Full-blown nightmares. Apparently your nose doesn't clock out when your brain does. It just starts curating the playlist for dreamland. Room temperature might sound vague, but in science, it means 20 to 25 degrees Celsius, the cozy climate sweet spot. It's ideal for lab experiments, indoor living, and that one houseplant you keep forgetting to water. It's where sweaters come off and comfort reigns. A 2015 study discovered measles does more than cause a rash. It deletes your immune system's memory. For up to 3 years, your body forgets how to fight old foes. It's like your internal defenses got hacked and wiped clean, courtesy of one sneaky virus. British law treats animal collisions like a Victorian guest list. You must report crashes with horses, cattle, and dogs to police. But foxes, deer, and cats? Not required. Sorry, Tabby. It's a weird traffic rulebook where some creatures rank above others. Some lipsticks shimmer thanks to fish scales. Yes, actual crushed fish scales, often called pearl essence, add that gleam. It's a weird collision of glamour and gills, but hey, beauty really does come from the inside, even if it's the inside of fish. The Clank Atlas is a book so massive, it needs 2 people just to open it. Standing nearly 2 meters tall and weighing 150 kilograms, this 1660 gift to King Charles II is more monument than map. Perfect for impressing guests or flattening small furniture. Venice doesn't do sidewalks and sedans. It floats on canals. Gondolas replace taxis, and boats glide where buses dare not. With its watery streets and moody charm, the city feels like it was designed by an architect who really hated traffic lights. Yellow hijacks your brain. It grabs attention, boosts memory, and demands to be noticed. That's why school buses, notepads, and warning signs wear it loud and proud. It's the highlighter of the color spectrum, bright, bold, and impossible to ignore. The water you drink today contains molecules that have traveled through time. Once part of the bodies of dinosaurs, ancient plants, and countless other creatures, cycling through Earth's water system for millions of years before reaching your glass. The term blue chip originated in casinos where blue poker chips were the highest value. Today, it's a metaphor for high-quality stocks or investments, meaning something valuable and reliable, just like those coveted blue chips on the poker table. Hookah might seem chill, but one session can deliver more toxins than an entire pack of cigarettes. That flavored cloud of melamint, it comes with carbon monoxide, heavy metals, and a lungful of regret. Proof that stylish smoke is still just smoke. The handshake started as a peace move in 5th century BC Greece, proving you weren't holding a weapon. No swords, just sweaty palms and good intentions. Over time, it went from survival tactic to business ritual to how many germs did we just trade? Germany's Lego Bruck isn't made of plastic bricks, but it sure looks like it. This colorful concrete bridge in Wuppertal was painted to resemble oversized Lego blocks, turning daily commutes into whimsical joyrides over a giant kid's toy. During wartime, bacon grease wasn't tossed. It was saved, collected, and turned into glycerin for explosives. Your breakfast scraps were literally fueling the war effort. Talk about bringing home the bacon and blowing something up with it. A teenager once designed a 50-star U.S. flag for a school project. It got a B- until it became the official American flag. Talk about a glow-up, from nice try, kid, to waving atop every government building and 4th of July barbecue. Beetles make up nearly 40% of all insect species on Earth. They thrive in almost every environment imaginable, from rainforests to deserts, showcasing their incredible diversity and adaptability as one of nature's most successful creatures. Koala babies are tiny miracles, born smaller than a jelly bean. After birth, they crawl into their mother's pouch, a warm, squishy nursery where they grow safe and snug. Nature's smallest marsupial miracle starts life in a fuzzy pouch cocoon. Women's hearts beat 8 to 10 beats faster per minute than men's, thanks to smaller size and hormonal differences. It's nature's rhythm variation, keeping female hearts pounding a little quicker, literally beating to their own unique drum. Calling someone a peach is more than sweet talk. It dates back to the custom of giving peaches as tokens of affection. Juicy, rare, and irresistible, peaches were edible love letters long before emojis and chocolate took over romance. A group of raccoons is called a gaze. It's good to know they're silently judging you while plotting your sandwich's disappearance. It's the perfect name for these masked bandits with grabby hands, twitchy noses, and a PhD in bin theft. The medieval Bavarian town of Nordlingen sits inside a 25-kilometer-wide meteorite crater formed 14.5 million years ago. Living inside a cosmic footprint, residents have a front-row seat to Earth's galactic history with every step they take. The Sum Biotech Research Foundation in South Korea offers dog cloning services for around $100,000. Want a perfect, furry copy of your best friend? They've got you covered, though the price tag might make you fetch your wallet twice. The first MTV music video was a poetic announcement that video was taking over the airwaves. It's ironic, catchy, and perfectly timed. A sung farewell to radio's golden age and hello to the MTV era. President Theodore Roosevelt was a voracious reader, averaging a book a day. He often juggled several books at once, rotating through them depending on his mood. A literary powerhouse who proved even presidents can be bookworms. Curious about your FBI file? In the US, all it takes is a letter. Yep, you can legally request what the Bureau has on you. Whether it's thrilling or totally blank, it's your right to read the government side of your mystery. Do you want to know what info the FBI has on you? Let me know in the comments. Iceland's only native land mammal is the Arctic fox, a shapeshifter in fur. White in winter, brown in summer, it blends into every season like a four-legged snow ninja. No moose, no bears, just one fabulous, fashion-forward fox. The Amazon may pump out up to 9% of the world's oxygen, but don't call it Earth's lungs just yet. Most of that oxygen gets used up by the forest itself through respiration and decay. Its net contribution to our air? Almost zero. King Henry VIII had a groom of the stool, a royal assistant whose full-time job was helping the king with bathroom visits. Royal dignity reached new levels of personal care, proving even monarchs need backup in the loo. Judge Judy earns over $40 million a year settling disputes on TV. That's courtroom drama with a luxury paycheck, making her not just a judge, but the queen of courtroom cash, ruling over justice and jaw-dropping salaries. Caterpillars don't see the world clearly. They have up to 12 simple eyes that only detect light and dark. Basically, they're crawling around like little fuzzy Roombas, bumping into leaves and hoping it's food, not a foot. Carrots contain zero fat and are mostly crunchy water and vitamins, making them a guilt-free snack. Their natural sweetness and crisp texture have made them a favorite healthy munchie packed with nutrients and hydration. DVDs hold about 6 to 7 times more data than CDs, despite looking almost identical. This extra storage space means you can fit entire movies, games, or software on a single DVD. Tech magic wrapped in a familiar shiny disc. Ohio makes some DUI offenders drive with yellow license plates that have big red letters, nicknamed party plates. They're not festive. They're a mobile warning sign that screams, "This driver partied too hard," turning shame into a bright, state-issued fashion statement on 4 wheels. In Oregon, logging isn't a one-way trip. Landowners must replant trees after cutting them down, about 40 million new ones each year. It's like a mandatory reforestation receipt. Thanks for chopping now, start planting. Timber goes out, saplings come in. Nature's debit and credit system. Squirrels aren't just twitchy little hoarders. They've been known to adopt orphaned baby squirrels. That's right, nature's nut-crazed parkour artists sometimes play foster parent. It's a tiny act of compassion in the treetops, proving even fluff-tailed acrobats have a soft spot for family. Bats are the only mammals that truly fly, not glide but flap with purpose. They hunt in darkness using echolocation and wings stretched like spooky parachutes. Forget vampires. These real-life night flyers are biological marvels with radar built in and a serious talent for silent takedowns. Caterpillars pack more muscles than humans. Tiny, wriggling powerhouses primed for transformation. Before they even dream of fluttering wings, they're busy flexing, crawling, and prepping for one of nature's most epic makeovers, becoming butterflies, the ultimate muscle-powered metamorphosis. In 2017, Germany cooked up the world's heaviest burger, tipping the scales at a monstrous 1,164 kilograms. Meanwhile, Michigan's 815 kilograms version was sold commercially. Enough beef to feed an army or terrify your cardiologist. Either way, these burgers weren't made for solo snackers. Imagine living full-time on a cruise ship. That's life aboard the world. Residents pay about $300,000 a year in maintenance fees to float through global ports while sipping wine and avoiding yard work. It's part yacht club, part neighborhood, part luxury apartment, all at sea. Watermelon is basically nature's sports drink disguised as dessert. It's 92% water, low in calories, and packed with sweetness and electrolytes. It hydrates, refreshes, and crunches all at once. Proof that candy doesn't have to come in a wrapper or make your dentist nervous. Michelangelo's David looks alive because of optical illusions. The sculptor used subtle carving tricks to make the pupils seem human-like, deeply shadowed, perfectly shaped. But they are not heart-shaped like many believe. That's Cupid's gig. David's just got killer Renaissance eye contact. In 1990, New Zealand officially appointed Ian Brackenbury as its national wizard. Cloaked, bearded, and fully employed by the government, he was paid to entertain crowds, spread joy, and occasionally scold politicians. It's not Hogwarts, but it's probably the next best thing. During World War II, sugar was rationed, and Halloween took a hit. Trick-or-treating was stopped, not for safety, but because candy wasn't flowing. Wartime kids missed out on sweets, trading Kit Kats for patriotism and blackout drills. Ancient Polynesians on Maui never used pottery. Not because they didn't want to, but because there was no clay. So instead of pots and plates, they got creative with wood, gourds, and stone. Necessity is the mother of some incredibly resourceful island living. Your phone's electromagnetic waves don't just beam cat videos. They can also heat up tissues and influence more than 100 brain proteins. We're still studying what that means long-term, but your brain is definitely catching more than just Wi-Fi when you scroll TikTok. Scotland boasts the highest concentration of natural redheads in the world, earning the nickname Red Hair Central. This genetic trait is celebrated in the country's culture, festivals, and even tourism, drawing attention to this unique and fiery-haired population. Termite queens are astonishing egg-laying machines, capable of producing up to 36,000 eggs in one day and millions over their lifetime. This reproductive power helps explain how termite colonies can grow so quickly and become such effective invaders of wooden structures. During World War I, English folks swapped nightgowns for pajamas to be ready for sudden air raids. Pajamas meant they could dash outside in comfort without missing a beat. Fashion meeting wartime practicality, proving even bedtime attire can have a heroic side. In Copenhagen, bicycles outnumber cars, and more than half the population pedals to work or school. Helmets are fashion statements, and bike lanes are highways. It's like a postcard from the future, where the traffic jams are made of spokes and good intentions. Cats chew with a graceful up-and-down chomp, but they've also got a subtle side-to-side jaw wiggle to grind food using their molars. It's not quite cow-level chewing, but it's elegant, efficient, and proof that even eating is a performance when you're a feline. Pennies cost more to make than they're worth. That 1-cent coin takes more than a cent to produce, thanks to rising metal prices and production costs. It's like minting your own debt in copper-colored gilt. Economically adorable, but financially frustrating. To predict tomorrow's weather, scientists solve billions of complex math problems, yet forecasts still get it wrong sometimes. Weather prediction is like a magic trick that occasionally forgets the last step, reminding us that nature loves to keep a few secrets. 1 billion snails are eaten globally every year, often served with garlic butter. These slimy delicacies are a staple in many cuisines, proving that when it comes to gourmet food, some cultures really know how to turn a simple snail into a fancy dish. In Egypt, camels are majestic, cranky, and definitely not cuddle material. Kissing or petting them can lead to a case of MERS, or an unexpected hoof to the ribs. These desert divas have moods, teeth, and absolutely no tolerance for unsolicited affection. One lightning bolt packs enough energy to toast 100,000 slices of bread. Imagine a single sky zap delivering a city-wide breakfast blitz. It's nature's electrifying power surge, turning storms into giant toasters with a flash of raw, unstoppable energy. Most of Nevada's vast land isn't owned by ranchers or casino moguls. It belongs to the U.S. government. Miles of empty desert, military testing zones, and alien conspiracy real estate are officially Uncle Sam's. Area 51 is just one line on a very long deed. Listening to music releases dopamine, the brain's pleasure chemical, which explains why tunes hit us emotionally despite having no direct survival purpose. Music is basically a mood-boosting party in your brain, proving rhythm and melody are brain candy. A full moon shines about 9 times brighter than a half moon, lighting up the night sky like a natural spotlight. That glow can make even the darkest nights feel almost like daytime, turning ordinary evenings into something a little more magical. About 30% of people allergic to latex also react to avocados because of similar proteins, a condition called latex fruit syndrome. This cross-reaction means some allergy sufferers have to watch out for more than just balloons and gloves at parties. John Ivers from Bruceville, Indiana, built a backyard roller coaster called the Blue Flash for his grandkids, using scrap metal and zero prior experience. It's DIY thrill rides, proving that backyard fun can come with serious engineering and grandpa love. Thanks to its high acid and sugar content, unopened ketchup can last 2 years past its expiration date. It's basically the cockroach of condiments, resilient, reliable, and always ready to add tang to your fries, no matter what year the label says. There's a vodka bottle worth $3.75 million, filtered through crushed diamonds and gems. It's the drink of choice if you're thirsty, rich, and allergic to financial responsibility. Sadly, it won't grant you powers, just the world's fanciest hangover. The old South Pittsburgh Hospital in Tennessee isn't just abandoned. It's legendary among ghost hunters. With flickering lights, phantom footsteps, and spooky stories, it's less of a hospital and more of a haunted house with a stethoscope. In France, work-life balance isn't just philosophy, it's law. Employers aren't allowed to email staff after work hours. It's protected downtime, where the only notifications should be wine pouring and cheese unwrapping. Long live the quiet inbox. Sloths move so slowly that algae actually grow on their fur. This living camouflage blends them into the treetops, turning slow motion into survival strategy. Nature's slowest movers also sport the greenest fashion statement in the jungle. Lizards do push-ups as their version of reptile body language, flashing muscles to warn rivals, attract mates, or simply say, "Hey, look at me." It's like neon signs and scales, showing off or setting boundaries with every mini push and flex. Dragonflies are the apex predators of the insect world. These airborne assassins can devour their body weight in bugs daily. Flies, mosquitoes, gnats. None are safe from this six-legged vacuum cleaner. Nature made them pretty, but brutal. Major League Baseball teams go through over 100,000 baseballs each season. That's a literal mountain of balls sacrificed for home runs, strikeouts, and epic double plays. Each game is a juggling act with fresh spheres and maybe a few sneaky souvenirs. Tooth enamel is your body's hardest substance, stronger than bone, but sadly, it can't grow back once damaged. Protect those pearly whites because enamel is your lifelong armor against cavities, stains, and regrettable midnight snacks. Strawberries pack more vitamin C than oranges. Those tiny red fruits may look cute and sweet, but they're immune-boosting powerhouses hiding a surprising nutritional punch that often beats the classic citrus champion at its own game. Chewing gum burns about 20 calories an hour. Your mouth gets a mini workout, like a tiny treadmill for your jaw muscles. So next time you pop a piece, remember you're technically exercising, even if it's just for your chewing muscles. Japanese beer cans often feature Braille, indicating they contain alcohol and sometimes the manufacturer's name. It's a thoughtful touch, making sure everyone can raise a glass and know exactly what's inside, no matter how they read. The Bible is the world's most shoplifted book. Apparently, it's so popular that people steal it more than anything else, making it the ultimate holy heist. Whether for inspiration or irony, it holds the crown in retail theft. Every panda outside China is technically on loan from China. With rental fees so high, the bamboo snacks at zoos probably feel like a steal. These cuddly ambassadors come with a hefty price tag and serious international appeal. During World War II, British intelligence sabotaged German soldiers by lacing condoms with itching powder. A sneaky wartime prank that turned personal protection into an itchy nightmare, proving that even espionage has a sense of humor. Parents of newborns lose up to 700 hours of sleep in the first year. That's nearly an entire month spent wide-eyed, pacing with a fussy baby, or arguing over whose turn it is. No wonder baby books have dark circles on the cover. Baseball fans don't just cheer, they crunch. Millions of bags of peanuts get devoured each season at games. It's more than snack time. It's a salty, crunchy tradition that's as American as the seventh-inning stretch and hot dogs. Dalmatian puppies are born pure white, no spots in sight. Those iconic black dots appear later, turning fuzzy newborns into the famously spotted pooches we all recognize. It's a gradual fashion reveal, puppy edition. A chess match could theoretically stretch to nearly 6,000 moves. That's enough time to grow a beard, raise a child, or forget why you started playing. Strategy this deep should come with snacks and a retirement plan. From 1914 to 1925, the Ford Model T came only in black, because black paint dried faster, speeding up mass production. Sometimes efficiency trumped style, turning Detroit's roads into a sea of uniform black cars. The word orange comes from the fruit, not the color. Before oranges arrived, the color was called red-yellow. So the juicy fruit got to name the hue first, turning tasty into trendy with one juicy linguistic twist. The W in motor oil ratings like 10W40 stands for winter. The lower the number before the W, the better the oil performs in cold weather, helping engines start smoothly when temperatures drop and mornings are frosty. Thanks to scam calls and spoofed IDs, most people treat unknown phone numbers like cursed relics. That ringing could be a legit call or a Nigerian prince trying to steal your identity. Modern phones aren't just for talking anymore. They're also shields from everyday digital trickery. About 40% of twins develop their own private language, known as cryptophagia, complete with made-up words and bizarre grammar. It's like a toddler-coded enigma machine. This secret dialect usually fades by school age, but while it lasts, it's pure twin magic wrapped in adorable babble. Many procrastinators are actually perfectionists hiding behind delay. They stall tasks not from laziness, but because they fear their work won't be flawless. It's less about avoidance and more about the pressure to do things perfectly, making procrastination a complex emotional puzzle. Despite the myth, goldfish aren't living in a 3-second fog. They can remember feeding times, recognize their owners, and even solve mazes. With months-long memory spans, they're low-key geniuses in a bowl, quietly judging you for tapping the glass and forgetting to clean their tank. Stick a grape in a microwave and you might get fireworks. It can split open dramatically or even spark, thanks to plasma physics and microwave energy. Researchers have actually studied this fruity explosion because nothing says science like a snack that turns into a lab experiment. Despite popular belief, a duck's quack does echo. It's just soft and sneaky. The myth stuck because their low volume, mellow frequencies don't bounce back loudly. So while ducks aren't magical sound ninjas, they do manage to confuse humans with deceptively quiet acoustics. Oysters are typically alive when served, not for thrill factor, but because they spoil fast. That fresh from the ocean vibe, it's literal. So when you knock one back, remember, your appetizer might have blinked if it had eyes. Classy, salty, and just a little unsettling. Backgammon isn't just for rainy afternoons and grumpy uncles. It dates back 5,000 years to ancient Mesopotamia and Persia, making it one of humanity's oldest board games. It's like chess's older cousin, competitive, wise, and still quietly flipping dice across generations. Brits don't just talk about the weather, they poetically categorize it. From drizzle and mizzle to downpours and deluges, their rain vocabulary is unmatched. Every drop has a name, every storm a story, and naturally, every forecast pairs with tea and dramatic windows staring. Niagara Falls can fill 4,000 bathtubs every single second, showing just how powerful this natural wonder really is. That roaring water rushes nonstop, pouring out enough to flood thousands of homes if it were ever redirected. A true force of nature that never takes a break. Dolphins sleep like multitasking pros. One eye open, half a brain awake, and the other half catching Z's. This clever system keeps them breathing, alert, and predator-aware. It's not just survival. It's the ocean's version of sleepwalking with sonar and tail flips. Actor Will Ferrell said no to $29 million for an Elf sequel because he didn't want fans thinking he'd sold out. Imagine turning down that kind of cash just to protect holiday magic. That's either artistic integrity or the most expensive nah, I'm good in comedy history. A 2012 study found alcohol makes people look more attractive, not because beer goggles magically boost charm, but because it subtly masks facial asymmetry. Basically, science confirmed what bars have suspected for centuries. Buzzed vision comes with a beauty filter. The average UK salary hovers around £30,000, and the pound itself is no pushover. It's one of the world's oldest and most secure currencies, packed with anti-counterfeit tech that's so advanced, Even MI6 would struggle to fake a fiver without raising royal eyebrows. In shooting sports, a tiny bit of alcohol, seriously tiny, can slow your heart rate and steady your hand. It's controversial, precise, and definitely not an excuse to mix whiskey with target practice. One sip too far, and your bullseye becomes the neighbor's mailbox. Movie trailers used to roll after films, but audiences fled before the preview started. So theaters flipped the script, moving trailers to the beginning. Now those epic sneak peeks get all the spotlight, hooking viewers before the opening credits even roll. A 2016 Harvard study found loneliness is as dangerous as smoking. It triggers a protein linked to heart disease, meaning a lack of friendship doesn't just sting, it quietly chips away at your health. In short, texts save lives, and hugs are basically medicine. Alcohol myopia is what happens when booze makes your brain focus only on the present, ignoring consequences. It's why texting your ex, dancing on tables, and bad karaoke all seem like genius ideas until the morning after, when your judgment finally sobers up. The friend paradox hurts, but it's mathematically true. Your friends really do have more friends than you. It's because highly connected people are statistically more likely to show up in your circle. So yes, even in friendship, math finds a way to humble you. Texting thumb is a modern repetitive stress injury caused by overusing your thumbs while typing on phones. It's a small but painful reminder that our thumbs are working overtime in today's digital age, proving even the tiniest fingers need a break sometimes. Peanut butter might be sticky, but under extreme pressure, it can turn into diamonds. Yes, your sandwich could technically become a sparkly treasure chest. From spread to sparkle, nature's weird chemistry turning lunch into luxury, if only for a moment. In the US, homeopathic products are legally required to say they don't work, unless there's solid scientific proof. That means some remedies come with a tiny label that basically says, "We hope this does something, but science isn't totally sold yet." In 1994, teacher Annalisa Flanagan broke a world record by yelling quiet at 121.7 decibels, roughly the volume of a rock concert. She didn't just command a room. She probably silenced an entire zip code. Somewhere, students still flinch at the memory. Out of 250,000 edible plants on Earth, we only eat around 150 to 200. Even crazier? 75% of the world's food comes from just 12 plants and 5 animals. Our diet is basically the greatest hits album of global agriculture, on repeat since the dawn of dinner. The now iconic line, "It's over 9,000!" wasn't quite what was said in the original Japanese. Vegeta actually said over 8,000. But the dub added some flair, and the internet ran with it. Sometimes, all it takes is one extra 1,000 to make anime history. In 2006, a Michigan woman listed a human skeleton on eBay. Her plan? Cash in on calcium. But eBay said no thanks. Selling human remains breaks the rules. She learned the hard way that online auctions are for vintage vinyl, not vintage vertebrae. The Apollo 11 computer was less powerful than today's calculators. Despite its modest specs, it guided astronauts to the moon. The lesson? Brains and brilliant engineering beat raw power, proving you don't need the latest gadget to make history. A quarter of your bones are in your feet. Those tiny structures work overtime, balancing, holding, and moving your entire body. Without these hardworking foot bones, walking, running, and even standing still would be a whole lot more complicated. Toe wrestling is an actual sport. Think arm wrestling, but swap hand for toes. No shoes allowed, just bare foot battles to claim toe-powered glory. It's quirky, competitive, and a reminder that feet have hidden talents beyond walking and stubbing. Bubble wrap was originally invented as wallpaper. Thankfully, that idea popped, literally, and it found new fame as the world's favorite fidget toy. Instead of decorating walls, it became the go-to stress buster, satisfying popping urges everywhere. Never odd, or even, is a palindrome, a phrase that reads the same backwards and forwards. It's a symmetrical word sandwich, a mirror trick in sentence form, and proof that language can be both poetic and annoyingly clever at the same time. Coin tosses aren't the pure 50-50 luck lottery you think. They're actually a bit biased. Coins are more likely to land on the side they started from. So next time you call heads or tails, remember, physics is secretly rooting for one side. During World War II cabinet meetings, Winston Churchill insisted on noiseless typewriters. He hated the clacking noise disrupting his concentration, proving even wartime leaders know when to demand some peace and quiet for better decision-making. In medieval times, a moment wasn't vague. It meant exactly 90 seconds. So when someone today says just a moment, you're technically owed a solid minute and a half. Time to start collecting interest on all those stolen medieval moments. A study found that anyone can learn to sing. It's not about being born with it, it's vocal gym time. Practice, muscle control, and training make the magic happen. So yes, even your karaoke wrecking friend could one day hit a Mariah note. Bees hatch fully formed and ready to hustle. But before they take flight, they start with hive chores, cleaning, nursing, and food handling. It's basically an insect internship before they get promoted to pollen-chasing adventurers. Pigs can't look up to stargaze. Their necks just aren't built for it. Their world is snout-deep in mud, roots, and the occasional apple core. It's a grounded life, quite literally, where the Milky Way might as well be a bedtime myth. Earth spins at over 1,000 miles per hour, but you don't feel a thing. Gravity's got your back. It holds everything in place while we hurtle through space like a silent carnival ride, minus the nausea and overpriced cotton candy. Nearly 1 in 5 pet owners share their bed with their animals. Dogs, cats, birds, and even reptiles sneak into blankets. Sleep might get interrupted by paws and claws, but those cozy snuggles are worth every nighttime disturbance. Unisex clothing often fits men better because designers typically create these styles for broader shoulders and straighter cuts, which don't always accommodate female body proportions, leading to less flattering fits for many women. You share your birthday with roughly 22 million people around the world, all celebrating on the same day without knowing each other. It's like an invisible global party where everyone's the guest of honor, united by one simple date. The Amazon rainforest is Earth's largest natural jungle, sprawling over nearly half of South America. It's so huge, it creates its own weather, making it a living, breathing giant that controls climate like a green superhero. In the Middle East, pointing the sole of your foot or shoe at someone is a serious insult. It's like showing disrespect without words, reminding everyone that sometimes the bottom of your shoe carries a heavy social message. The Museum of Failure in Sweden is packed with products and ideas that spectacularly flopped. It celebrates failure as a creative stepping stone, reminding us that innovation often requires a few epic missteps before success. Fire is sneaky, but give an incline and it goes full track star. Flames travel faster uphill because heat rises, preheating everything in its path. That cozy campfire? Put it on a slope and it turns into a sprinting inferno. Horses can rotate their ears independently, giving them the amazing ability to listen in 2 different directions at once. This helps them stay alert to predators and communicate subtle signals with other horses. In 2006, over 300 professional Santas gathered in Branson, Missouri for the first Discover Santa convention. Imagine a room packed with ho-ho-hos, red suits, and big white beards. Santa's ultimate holiday meetup. Vienna's Vegetable Orchestra performs music using only instruments made from fresh vegetables. Their organic sounds are truly unique, turning carrots and pumpkins into unexpected musical stars of the veggie world. High heels were originally made for men. Knights wore them to keep steady in horse stirrups. Fashion flipped the script, but But these towering shoes began as warrior gear, proving style sometimes rides in on horseback. Vatican City is the smallest country in the world, tinier than a shopping mall, but packed with power. It has its own laws, guards, and centuries of history, proving good things really do come in very small packages. TheRingFinders.com is like the Avengers for lost jewelry. Metal detector pros who reunite people with wedding rings, heirlooms, and buried bling. They've recovered over $5.2 million in treasure. It's part treasure hunt, part therapy session, where heartbreak meets a beeping miracle. The entire internet, every video, post, meme, and message relies on electrons with a combined weight of about 50 grams. That's roughly one strawberry. Billions of people plugged in worldwide. And it all balances on a berry's worth of charge. Digital life, featherlight, and freaky. In 1953, James Watson and Francis Crick revealed the structure of DNA, the now iconic double helix. This twisty ladder of life revolutionized biology, unlocked the secrets of genetics, and gave future companies the blueprint to tell you your ancestry and your lactose intolerance. Extra virgin olive oil isn't just a culinary staple. It moonlights as a potential cancer fighter. Thanks to oleocanthal, a compound that destroys cancer cells while sparing healthy ones, your salad dressing might secretly be battling disease while adding gourmet flair to your greens. High above Greece, the Meteora monasteries perch on massive cliffs like ancient fortresses built by mountaineers with faith and zero fear of heights. In the Middle Ages, monks used ropes and baskets to reach them, because nothing says spiritual devotion like dangling over a canyon. A New York dad named his sons Winner and Loser because subtlety wasn't his thing. But fate flipped the script. Winner became a criminal, and Loser became a decorated police officer. Turns out names don't decide destiny, but they sure make it awkward at family reunions. A chameleon's tongue is a stretchy, lightning-fast hunting tool that can extend twice the length of its body. It rockets out to snag insects with pinpoint accuracy, like a sticky sniper shot, disguised as a party trick. When it comes to tongue foo, chameleons reign supreme. The word brandy comes from the Dutch brandewijn, which means burnt wine. It sounds like a cooking disaster, but it's actually about distillation, concentrating alcohol by heating wine. So next time you sip brandy, you're basically drinking fancy, fire-kissed grapes. There's a hidden grammar rule behind how we order adjectives. It goes like this: opinion, the size, the age, the shape, the color, the origin, the material, and purpose. That's why you say lovely little old round red Italian leather handbag, and not leather Italian red round old little lovely handbag. In the 1970s, the FBI opened a real file on Bigfoot and analyzed mysterious hair samples submitted by citizens. The verdict? Deer hair. But for a moment, the U.S. government officially entertained the idea of a forest-dwelling cryptid with a questionable grooming routine. Formicophilia is a real, very niche fetish where people enjoy insects crawling on or biting them, from ants to beetles, you name it. It's not about bugs in your picnic, it's bugs in your fantasy. Definitely not something you bring up over brunch without a warning label. You can't smell your own home because your brain's gone nose blind. It filters out familiar scents through olfactory adaptation, allowing you to detect new or dangerous smells faster. Basically, your house could smell like cookies or socks. You wouldn't even know. Wagyu beef is basically edible gold. At $50 per 100 grams and up to $3,200 for premium cuts, it's meat that whispers luxury with every bite. Cows get massages, special diets, and spa-level care because nothing says fine dining like beef that lived better than you. The thunderous drum reverb in Phil Collins' In the Air Tonight wasn't planned. It was a happy studio accident. One stray mic setting turned a standard beat into an iconic, brooding boom. Proof that sometimes legendary sounds come from glorious technical hoopsies. Toothbrushes, chargers, socks, and underwear top the list of most commonly forgotten travel items. Despite being essentials, these everyday items often slip travelers' minds, turning packing into a last-minute scramble filled with, "Did I forget anything?" moments. Multiply 9 by any number, then add the digits of the result repeatedly, and you'll always end up with 9. This quirky math trick reveals the magical properties of the number 9, one of those fascinating little mysteries hidden in everyday arithmetic. Back in the 1960s, Nintendo wasn't making video games. It ran love hotels in Japan. These by-the-hour rooms were cozy hideaways for couples. Who knew that before Mario rescued princesses, Nintendo was helping people make their own pixel-free magic in private? If your eyes go red after swimming, don't blame chlorine alone. It's chloramines, created when chlorine reacts with sweat, urine, and other body contributions. That's stinging? It's science, and also why pools should be labeled no-pee zones in flashing neon. Christian atheism sounds like an oxymoron, but it's legit. Some people follow Christian teachings and admire Jesus' moral code, just without the belief in God or miracles. Think of it as living the gospel without buying the supernatural subscription package. Owls have asymmetrical ears, one higher than the other, which gives them superpowered hearing. They can pinpoint prey in total darkness using 3D sound, basically turning every midnight hunt into a sonar-guided stealth mission. If Batman had feathers, he'd hoot. Arnold C is a programming language made entirely from Arnold Schwarzenegger movie quotes. It's coding with a twist of Hollywood. Imagine programming your apps with lines like, "I'll be back." Definitely not your average developer's toolkit. The sun only looks yellow from Earth. In space, it's white. Pure, unfiltered light. Our atmosphere bends and scatters the sunlight, painting it in golden hues. So yes, your childhood drawings were scientifically inaccurate, but artistically on point. Earmuffs were invented in 1873 by 15-year-old Chester Greenwood, who later patented his design and started a factory producing hundreds of thousands annually. A chilly kid's genius idea turned into a cozy classic that keeps ears warm around the world. Italy's goalkeeper Dino Zoff achieved an incredible feat by going over 1,000 minutes without conceding a goal in international football. That's nearly 11 full matches of flawless defense, a legendary streak that made him a hero in the world of soccer. The British pound isn't just money, it's a millennium-old legacy. In continuous use for over 1,000 years, it's the oldest currency still circulating. When you hold a pound coin, you're gripping centuries of history, royal drama, and economic resilience. Cherophobia is the fear of happiness, where joy feels like bait for future pain. It's like emotional whiplash, waiting for the catch behind the smile. For some, contentment comes wrapped in suspicion, as if laughter's just a prequel to disaster. Light is the universe's ultimate speedster, circling Earth more than 7 times every second. It's faster than a blink, outpacing anything you can see or hear. A cosmic ninja darting through space, showing us just how speedy photons really are. Between 2014 and 2016, about 795 million people, roughly 1 in 9, suffered from chronic undernourishment, mostly in developing countries. It's a global hunger crisis that highlights the urgent need for food security and sustainable solutions. Superfetation is a rare phenomenon where a woman becomes pregnant again while already pregnant, resulting in 2 fetuses conceived at different times. It's nature's version of a pregnancy remix. Double the surprise, double the biological wonder. Eminem's rap god squeezes 1,560 words into just over 6 minutes, roughly 4.28 words per second. It's not just a song. It's a rapid-fire verbal sprint where syllables fly faster than bullets and rhymes come faster than most people can breathe. That glorious full-body stretch you do with a yawn? It's called pandiculation. It resets muscle tone, boosts blood flow, and helps shake off sleep inertia. Basically, it's your body's way of rebooting itself. No software update required. Broccoli is actually a flower in disguise, an edible bouquet you steam, roast, or drown in cheese. Those green florets on your plate are just tight little buds waiting to bloom if they weren't destined to become fiber-rich side dishes. Pro cyclists generate so much power during sprints they could light up a house. Their legs are literal dynamos, turning raw muscle into electricity, speed, and sheer pedal-powered fury. It's less exercise, more renewable energy in motion. Elephants can't jump, not even a tiny hop. Their legs are built like sturdy pillars made for strength and weight, not springiness. So no matter how much they might want to bounce, elephants keep all 4 feet firmly planted on the ground. A study by St. George's University in London found that kids who use screens more than 3 hours a day have a higher risk of type 2 diabetes. Screen time might come with a hidden health price, reminding parents to balance pixels with play. Roman numerals don't have a zero. The ancient Romans just didn't see zero as a number. It was more like a big nothing. Counting started at 1. So zero was basically a concept that hadn't made the trip into their number system yet. One alligator's hide can supply enough leather to make a pair of shoes, but if you want boots, you'll need the skins of 3. This shows just how durable and valuable alligator leather is. Luxury footwear with a wild origin story. Some rare humans, thanks to unique genetics, thrive on just 4 to 6 hours of sleep. The rest of us? We need 7 to 9 hours to function well and keep our brains sharp. It's sleep science's reminder. Beauty rest isn't one size fits all. Think you can survive on 4 to 6 hours of sleep? Or do you need 18 to 24 hours of sleep per day? Intel has a futurist on payroll whose job is to predict what life might look like 10 to 15 years from now. It's like hiring a crystal ball with a tech degree. Someone paid to imagine tomorrow's gadgets before we even invent today's. In the US, emails older than 180 days can legally be accessed by the government without a warrant. 6 months turns your inbox from private to open file. So yes, that awkward email from last spring, technically public record now. In Sweden, one couple tried to name their baby. Yeah, I'll just put it on the screen. Pronounced Albin. The authorities said, that's not going to happen. Apparently, some names are too avant-garde, even for the land of IKEA and ABBA. Ever wonder why Los Angeles Airport is LAX? It used to be just LA, back when airport codes had 2 letters. When 3-letter codes became the norm, an X got slapped on as a placeholder. Now, it's iconic like a kiss from the sky. A thirsty camel doesn't sip, it guzzles. In minutes, it can drink up to 200 liters of water, like a furry tanker truck with a hump. It's not hydration, it's desert-level rehydration, nature's version of a high-speed fuel stop. In the 1920s, mini golf was a rooftop pastime in New York City. Players putted under starlit skies, with skyscraper views adding a thrill to the tiny greens. It was city life meets playful sport, high above the hustle below. Somnophobia is the fear of sleeping or falling asleep, often tied to anxiety about the unknown or what might happen during sleep. For sufferers, bedtime isn't rest. It's a nightly battle with the fear of the dark dream world. On March 23, 1962, Pakistan's President Ayub Khan gifted Jacqueline Kennedy a horse named Sardar, a royal steed for a first lady, because sometimes diplomacy trots in on 4 hooves with style and grace. Each human eye holds about 7 microliters of fluid. That's why tears overflow during crying and cause runny noses. Your eyes and nose team up for emotional expression and a bit of extra moisture management. Some sign languages include signs for swearing, and they're often so sharp, so expressive, and gloriously rude that spoken profanity can't compete. It's like delivering a Shakespearean insult with jazz hands. Oysters can switch genders, flipping from male to female and back again. When you're a mollusk, gender is flexible, a survival strategy that keeps the oyster world balanced and ever adaptable under the waves. In the US, the tooth fairy's going rate is around $6 to $7 per tooth. That means a kid's full set of baby teeth can rake in more than $100. It's the only time in life where losing teeth pays dividends. Amazon warehouse workers hustle hard. Some walk up to 17 kilometers per shift, grabbing packages every 33 seconds. That's like running a daily marathon through shelves, scanners, and break room coffee. Forget gym memberships. Amazon's already got you doing the steps of your life. In 2010, China experienced a traffic jam so epic it stretched over 100 kilometers and lasted 12 days. Stranded drivers bartered with locals for food and water, while cars crawled forward at a snail's pace. It was less a highway and more an accidental street festival with honking. In Beverly Hills, pet stores can only sell animals from shelters or rescues. No designer dogs and no boutique kittens. Just adorable second-chance pets ready for their Hollywood debut. It's luxury meets compassion, where your furry sidekick comes with both style and a redemption arc. In 2017, Harvard scientists uploaded a 5-frame GIF of a galloping horse into E. coli DNA. Yes, they literally taught bacteria to carry movies. It's not streaming, it's gene Ming. Because who needs Netflix when your microscopic friends have a front row seat to vintage animation? In India, mango leaves aren't just for smoothies. They're sacred garlands used to celebrate baby boys. These leafy decorations symbolize freshness, prosperity, and new beginnings, turning every newborn's welcome into a fragrant, natural festival that's as sweet as the fruit itself. Dogs have superpowered ears. They hear higher frequencies, quieter sounds, and stuff we can't even imagine. They're basically walking audio surveillance systems, tuned into squirrel footsteps, fridge doors, and your neighbor's sandwich unwrapping from 3 houses down. Scientists at the University of Wisconsin invented a way to replace toxic smartphone materials with transparent, flexible wood pulp. Phones might soon be greener, thanks to tree-powered tech turning screens and parts into sustainable, biodegradable alternatives. In 2015, over 50,000 Australians signed a petition to rename their currency dollary-doos, inspired by The Simpsons.
$900 dollary-doos?
Sadly, it didn't pass, but for a moment, economic policy almost collided with cartoon chaos. Somewhere, The Simpsons weeps into a perfectly good name for money. Finland is practically one giant forest, with 3.2 billion trees and about 580 per person. That's enough timber to build a wooden army or just hide in peaceful solitude forever. It's the ultimate nature flex, endless green, crisp air, and tree hugging on a national scale. In the 1980s, UK censors decided ninja was too violent for kids' ears, so the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles became hero turtles across the pond. They even edited Michelangelo's nunchucks. Cowabunga? More like carefully regulated cowabunga with a polite British twist. Some people spend days, maybe even a week of their lives kissing. While there's no global average, it's a surprisingly romantic chunk of time. Whether it's sweet, steamy, or just awkward, those lip-locking seconds add up to a statistically affectionate lifestyle. Mars Needs Moms cost Disney $150 million and flopped harder than a lead balloon. It made just $6.9 million in the US, proving not even cutting-edge animation could save a film about needy Martians. It's less of a movie, more of an expensive space-time mistake. Horror movies sometimes sneak in infrasound. Low-frequency noise you can't hear, but definitely feel. It stirs unease, gives you chills, and makes your stomach drop. It's basically an invisible ghost shaking your insides, all without a single jump scare or scream. Turn 100 in the UK, and you'll get more than cake. You'll get a letter from the monarch. It's a formal, royal nod for surviving a century of British weather, wartime rationing, changing governments, and decades of tea. Talk about the ultimate birthday card upgrade. In 2012, Qantas flight QF1121 took off on a fuel blend made from recycled cooking oil. It was Australia's first commercial flight powered by biofuel, proving aviation doesn't always need jet fuel. Sometimes, yesterday's French fries can fly a plane across the sky. By 2020, Norway was nearly cash-free. Only 5% of transactions involved actual money. Credit cards and mobile apps rule the wallet. Even kids' lemonade stands are probably wired for contactless payment. It's Vikings meet Venmo in the land of digital kroner. According to a Journal of Positive Psychology study, 2/3 of people don't actually know what they're good at. That's right, most of us are talented and clueless. Self-awareness is apparently harder to find than your car keys when you're already late. A Japanese gorilla named Shabani went viral for being smoking hot. Zookeepers noticed a spike in female visitors swooning over his brooding eyes and muscular arms. He's basically the George Clooney of primates, proof that thirst doesn't stop at the species line. Half a conversation is more distracting than a full one because your brain can't stand the mystery. It tries to fill in the blanks like a nosy detective with ADHD. That's why overhearing one side of the phone call is more maddening than eavesdropping on both. Venus barely tilts at just 2.6 degrees, so it doesn't really do seasons. But who needs them? Its super dense atmosphere keeps the entire planet a toasty 462 degrees Celsius all year round. Venus doesn't do spring or fall. It's permanent steam room mode with a side of apocalyptic weather. The average person spends about 2 full weeks of their life waiting at red lights. That's 14 days lost to staring at glowing circles, drumming on the dashboard, and rehearsing the perfect ready-to-go foot tap. Traffic patience is a lifetime skill. Reciprocal liking is a psychological boomerang. If you know someone likes you, you're more likely to like them back. It's emotional mirroring, brain chemistry, and just plain human nature. Basically, flattery really does work, but only if it's mutual. Some hospitals use infrared vein scanners that project your veins onto your skin like a real-time tattoo. It helps nurses find the best injection spots and avoids poking around like it's a game of vascular battleship. High-tech meets ouch prevention. Even after losing its head, a venomous snake can still bite and kill. That's because its nervous system keeps firing reflexes for hours. So decapitation doesn't equal defanged. Always assume the danger isn't over until the fangs are 6 feet under. There are more chickens on Earth than people. By billions. They cluck in silence, rule the barnyards, and outnumber us without breaking a sweat. They're the feathered overlords of dinner plates and omelets, quietly running the world one egg at a time. The first vacuum cleaner was enormous, so big it had to be pulled by horses. Imagine a couch-sized contraption rumbling through rooms, far from today's handheld devices. Early cleaning tech was more beast than machine, but it got the job done. Snails have a homing instinct, but it only works up to about 20 meters. Move them farther, and they're more likely to get lost, proving even snails have a limited sense of direction and probably don't appreciate being relocated without a GPS. The biggest Bible factory isn't in Rome, it's in China. One printing facility has cranked out over 150 million copies, making it the spiritual HQ of high-volume scripture. When it comes to holy books, they're running the divine printing press. In the 1960s, the U.S. tried turning a cat into a spy, Operation Acoustic Kitty. The mission failed spectacularly when the feline agent just wandered off, ignoring orders. Turns out espionage isn't a cat's game, no matter how stealthy they are. A traditional soccer ball is made of 32 leather panels stitched together with around 250 to 300 stitches. This classic design helps the ball keep its perfect shape and durability, making it the iconic globe that players around the world chase. Of the 24 men who traveled to the moon on Apollo 8 and Apollo 10 to 17 missions, 20 were Boy Scouts. That includes 11 of 12 moonwalkers and the entire Apollo 13 crew. Turns out, scouting skills take you not just to campfires but to space. The Bible wraps up with one final word: Amen. No epilogues, no cliffhangers, just a spiritual mic drop at the end of humanity's most printed book. It's the ancient equivalent of hitting send on the most soul-shaping story ever told. When gorillas are feeling content, they burp loudly. It's not bad manners. It's gorilla for I'm happy. Think of it as a jungle compliment with digestive flair. So if a gorilla belches at you, congrats, you've made a new best friend. Lebanon stands out in the Middle East as the only country without a desert. Instead, it boasts lush green hills, rugged mountains, and a stunning coastline. It's a rare patch of vibrant nature in a region better known for endless sands. In May 2017, a couple in Wales got married in virtual reality on AltSpace VR, with 150 guests attending digitally. Wedding bells met digital pixels, proving love can cross both physical and virtual worlds, complete with virtual confetti. In Braille, books get bulky. A Bible can stretch to 45 volumes, and a full dictionary might need over 70. That's a lot of shelf space just to say in the beginning or define zebra, but it shows how touch turns words into mountains. Between 2002 and 2010, nearly 18,000 men visited ERs for zip-related injuries, making up almost 1/5 of all male genitalia injuries during that time. Proof that sometimes, even the smallest clothing details can cause big problems. Jim carries chipped tooth in Dumb and Dumber. Totally real. He just unscrewed a crown. Ed Helms pulled the same trick for The Hangover, and Brad Pitt chipped his front tooth for Fight Club. Dental drama, now with Oscar potential. Which is your favorite movie from the three? Let me know down below. The most popular fruit in the world isn't bananas or apples, it's the tomato. A salad staple, pizza hero, and ketchup MVP, it secretly runs the produce aisle. And yes, it's a fruit, even if your inner chef still insists otherwise. Israeli stamps are sealed with kosher-certified glue, so licking them won't break any dietary laws. That's right, even your postage can be observant. It's one of the few times gluing your tongue to paper counts as a spiritual act. Ducks have 3 eyelids, one for blinking, another for sleeping, and a third that works like built-in swimming goggles, protecting their eyes underwater while still allowing them to see clearly in different environments. Beer's recipe is ancient, over 5,000 years old, and recorded before paper was common. In prehistoric times, bread and beer were the breakfast dream team, proving humans have been brewing and munching since way before coffee. The Toyota logo isn't just a fancy oval, it's a secret code. Every letter in Toyota hides inside its sleek design like an automotive puzzle. Once you see it, you'll never unsee it. It's branding with a wink and a riddle. Komodo dragons can eat up to 80% of their body weight in one meal. They then store that energy to survive long periods without food, a survival strategy that helps these giant lizards thrive in their harsh island habitats. When you see something beautiful, like your crush or a perfect slice of pizza, your pupils dilate. It's your eyes' way of shouting, "Yes, I like this." A subtle signal of attraction or appetite broadcast in black and white. Ranitophobia is the irrational fear of frogs and toads. For those who dread these jumpy amphibians, it's a real intense fear that makes even a harmless pond visit a leap too far. All cats, even tigers, have unique scent glands that help cubs find their moms and recognize other cats. It's like nature's secret social network, built on smells instead of hashtags or purrs. Only male turkeys gobble. Female turkeys prefer clicks and chirps. So when you hear a gobble, you know a proud tom is in the neighborhood, while the hens stick to their quieter, less boastful chatter. Couples argue most about money, not just dollars and cents, but what they symbolize: freedom, security, dreams, and sometimes control. In relationships, budgeting isn't just math, it's emotional algebra. A passionate kiss burns 2 to 3 calories per minute. It's not exactly a cardio session, but it's a sweet bonus workout, proof that romance and fitness can sometimes go hand in hand, or rather, lip to lip. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss next week's video. Or check out the playlist on your screen for more facts. See you next time.